Welcome to the House of Legends podcast, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, founder and CEO of the House of Legends by Graciela, a mindset coach and mother of three beautiful kids. My mission and passion is to provide you with the tools that will allow you to unlock and bring out the best version of yourself, which is the key to all change. Some of those tools are mindset, identity work, and emotional mastery. Not only that, but I will also bring you powerful conversations with legends like you, showcasing their journey, life work, and allowing us to learn from their experiences and insights. So don't miss an episode. Tune in each week to the House of Legends podcast and let's unlock the power of your own legend. Let's dive in today's episode. Welcome back to the House of Legends, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, and in today's episode, we have an amazing, beautiful guest, Lisa Moore. Oh my gosh, if you can just see this, maybe you've seen this via YouTube, you can tell right away that she is an amazing magnetic manifestor. If you're familiar with human design, you know what I'm talking about, that disruptive amazing energy that is coming here to initiate. With that being said, Lisa, if you can introduce yourself, let us know who you are and what got you to where you are right now.
Oh, thank you so much for that introduction. Beautiful introduction, manifestor to manifestor. So, my name is Lisa Moore. I am a divine power healer, activator, and speaker. And I'm very much here to shine a light on the collectively held subconscious limiting BS that we collectively hold that has created this 3D paradigm. And I totally believe that if we can all identify the collectively held beliefs that we individually hold, heal them, alchemize them, turn them into gold, we'll be able to co-create a new world together of unconditional love, unity consciousness, freedom, abundance, and joy for all. And that is my mission, is to bring down 5D into 3D, birth this new world together. And then from that, who knows what we can co-create together. So yeah, that is my mission. That's what I'm here to do. And yeah, I'm so excited to be on this podcast and to chat more.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to hear that, and thank you for sharing. And for me, one of the things that I've been noticing time to time is sometimes we are so on the 3D or in the what is that we don't understand, like 4D, 5D. If you can go a little bit deeper for the listeners that are like, what is 5D? What is 3D?
Yeah. So 5D is unity consciousness. So currently 3D is duality. So it's built upon fear and lack and limitation. So it's created, we believe that we are separate from each other, from divine source, from creator of all that is. And we are born with egos because it keeps us safe, but also our ego believes that we're separate from all that is. And therefore that shows up in our beings. It's passed down through our ancestors, it's held collectively, we've experienced it through past lives. So that's why we have a world built on separation, on fear, on conflict, on judgment, on war, basically, because we're actually at war with ourselves. So our external world is a reflection of our internal world. And it's all these parts of ourselves that we're at war with because ultimately we don't understand that we are divine source. We are all that is. So when we can actually heal that deep wound, which I say it's the deepest, it's the reason for all human suffering is us believing that we're separate from divine source. So if we can all individually heal that on the inside out, then that's when we shift into 5D, which is unity. So 5D is unconditional love. It's unity consciousness. It's unity consciousness, it's freedom and it's abundance and it's joy for all. It's harmony, it's peace, it's balance, it's health, it's wealth, and it's success, because that is our divine birthright. That is who we are. I am you, you are me. I'm that tree, the tree is me. We are all one, but our ego doesn't believe that. So when we're in that duality of feeling separate, that's where fear comes in, because we fear that we're not loved. We fear that we're not accepted, that we don't belong, all of these things. And that's what this shift from 3D to 5D is about. And that's what I believe we're going through, this massive transition at the moment from 2020 to 2027. We're going through this massive transition, and we all need to individually take responsibility for what we need to heal ourselves, but also come together, because we've all agreed, like collectively on a subconscious level, we have all agreed to this 3D paradigm of fear and lack and limitation. And if we can all rewire our own subconscious minds and energy to 5D, which is what my work is about, then all of a sudden our external world will look very different. And that will be that 5D of unconditional love and unity consciousness, because it will reflect the internal harmony and balance and peace and love that we've created individually. So hopefully that answers your question, the difference between the two.
Yes, and I love the differentiation that the way that you put it in words right here, because it's so easy to just to fall onto the day-to-day and just not asking ourselves for more and normalize some things, normalize separation or lack or fear-based thoughts. But those are actually not even true. Those are created, like you mentioned, from the ego, from self-protection. And when we becoming aware and we start opening our minds, because this is require a new level of awareness or consciousness, is when we have access to tools like you, like the tools that you get to offer. And I would love for you to ask you, Lisa, if this has been always your mission or what you used to do before.
Oh my word. No, this has taken me such a long time to get here. So I'd say it started at school from a young age. I'm left and right brain. So I was equally good at art as I was science and maths.
Yeah.
But it never felt safe for me to study and go all in on art, because I was so wounded masculine. It's like I was at the top of my class for everything. And I couldn't handle someone critiquing my art and giving me a D because they just didn't like it. Whereas 1 and 1 was always going to equal 2. So I ended up going all in on sciences. I studied maths at university, and I came out of university, and then I fell into working in investment banking, in law firms, in the IT departments, kind of looking and analyzing their IT systems. So it was very creative in a way, because I was analyzing what was going on, and then I was streamlining it and kind of jigging it around to improve it. So there was always an element of creativity, but it was still very much that wounded masculine environment, surrounded by a lot of men and just kind of like woman on a mission, get out my way, big balls energy. And then I was early 30s. So I'd been doing that career for 10 years, and I always knew I would come back and do something more creative, but I had no idea what it was. So in 2014, I sat down before coaching went kind of huge, and I'd found this woman who was offering a 1-month coaching course. It was called How to Be a Free Range Human. So it was basically sitting down for a month and just pouring my soul out onto the pages to kind of try and design a life on my own terms that was something that was going to light me up so that I could transition into that, and that would be my full-time career. So anyway, I poured my soul onto the pages, and I wrote down things like, if I could do anything, what would I do? 6 different things. If I didn't need to train in anything, all of that dream day manifestation type stuff. And then I told my friend, I manifested informed at the time, I didn't know I was doing it, a friend at work, saying, look, I want to quit this job and I want to go traveling. I want to start a business. Anyway, she took that on board, and without me knowing, she ended up setting me up on a blind date, because she'd met this guy just through friends, and he was sitting in this cafe and he was sharing his journey that he'd just bought a motorbike, and he was basically had quit his job. He'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. He'd had a failed business, and he'd basically went back to corporate for what was supposed to be a year. And 12 years later, he's still in this job, and he's now early 40s. And he's like, I just need to quit my job and drive into the sunset. So he was leaving in 4 weeks' time on a motorbike. And she convinced him to set me up on this blind date. And he was like, well, I'm leaving, but all right, let's just have a quick drink. Anyway, the date went so well that I got on the back of his motorbike 4 weeks later, and we drove into the sunset. So that was a pure manifestation moment. We traveled for 9 months. And when we were traveling, we were like, what business should we start together? Because we knew we would work really well together. And that's when the fashion brand was born. So we came back in 2015 and we started a fashion brand. And why this is important is because the fashion brand was very much around something that I was trying to express. So I don't know whether you've seen the leather jacket that I wear often. It's very much, it's black and gold. It's like badass woman on a mission, blah, blah, blah. So it was very much designed around me. And then 2020 happened, which was my spiritual awakening. So I had started to get into Joe Dispenza. So he bridged that science to spirituality gap for me. And then a friend of mine had trained as a theta healer. And because I'd read Joe Dispenza's book, I understood that the theta brainwave state was the hypnosis state. And I was like, oh, I feel really cool to try this healing modality. So I've got like 8 planets in Scorpio and the 8th house. I had one session with her, and then I had 80 sessions with her because I freaking loved this. So for 2 years, I was still working the fashion brand with my partner, but I was having weekly sessions, obsessed. And what I was doing after each session, which nobody else does because you don't need to do it, but I would watch them back and I would document every single belief that we had worked on in the session and cleared. So after 2 years, I had 2,000 beliefs that we'd healed. Yeah. And then at the end of 2021, it was so obvious that I just wasn't passionate about the fashion brand at all. And it was like, I just wanted to go full in on this. So I left at the beginning of 2022 and I trained as a theta healer. But because I'd received so many, I kind of was already quite advanced because I'd been receiving it for so long. So I did my training. And then from then on, I then healed myself. So now my spreadsheet, I call it my vault, has now grown to 3,500 subconscious limiting beliefs that I've identified. And over this time, identified and healed. Over this time, I started realizing like a chunk of these, about a third of them, maybe even half, are collectively held. And it's literally like the computer programming for the 3D matrix that we've all agreed to, because I know these aren't just mine. Like this is, I've obviously got stuff from my past lives passed down through my DNA and everything, but there is a big proportion of these that are collectively held. And if I can just get these out to people and help them identify which ones they hold, and then help them heal it, alchemize it, and then, replace those 3D with the 5D highest and best, most expansive, empowering beliefs, like imagine what that would do. That would create this herd healing ripple effect faster than any individual healing that, I'm aware of, because we're working on it individually, but also collectively to kind of break down that paradigm. So yeah, that's now what my work is around. So I've broken it down, my spreadsheet. I've got about 25 themes of things that I've worked on over the 4 years, and they're all called Activate Your Divine whatever. So the first one is Activate Your Divine Energy, which is they're the deepest collectively held beliefs around basically being disconnected from your divine power. So it's, what we were talking about at the beginning, like the very root of your ego believing it's disconnected from divine source. So it targets that, but also how to, once you've activated your divine energy, which is unique to you, it's then about managing, how to manage, work with, flow, and protect your energy. So that's the first one. And then, I've cleared things across so many different subjects. Activate your divine boundaries, activate your divine love, activate your divine money. I've got, like I said, 25 of these that I'm going to be rolling out, because I believe that if we all collectively come together and identify which ones we have and heal and alchemize them, the world, like I said, on the outside will be a very different place. So that's been my journey. So I didn't start whatsoever with this. And I'd say, being part of the 2020 wave of awakened beings, it's kind of fallen into place. But it's taken time, it really has. And I think as a manifestor as well, I'm doing something that's never been done before. I've always been an outsider. I was the black sheep, in inverted commas. Now I'm the golden ram, I'm going to call myself. I just made that up. So, I'm here to alchemize pain to divine power, so if you come to my Instagram, it's all, even the website, it's all about the black and gold, the transmuting the shadow to light, because the shadow actually comes from light. It is we need the shadow to be able to see the light. So really the darkness is just light in itself, but we need to be able to understand that, which is
That's
unity consciousness.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that because the journey, like sometimes, like I mentioned to you before we press record, what we get to see is the where you are right now. Like you mentioned, even the page with the colors, and I love the fact that those are intentional colors that you say
Mm.
mention bold because sometimes it's like, oh, just pick any color. You are putting those with intention. But three things that actually when you're sharing the story I wanted to highlight, and you mentioned safetyness, criticism, and also being a non-masculine. And I would love for you, and for because when we don't feel safe, and this applies for any situation, it could be here being on business, relationships. How you I'm not gonna use the word overcame, but how you turn that around to feel safe again, to feel safe to be you, to express the things that you wanted to express.
Yeah, so safety, I think, is one of the biggest things that we have to work on.
Yeah.
And I think I was very blessed when I met my partner. He held space for me like nobody ever held space. And I think that was the beginning of me being able to fully be myself. I think we need to have that container, someone who just allows us to be exactly who we are. And then from there, we can then do the inner work. So, whether that's a partner or a family member or a coach or a mentor, I think having that is so important. So yeah, so that's when we met, and then we had the business together, and I'm going to hold my hands up. I was manny angry a lot of the time, and he was definitely on the end of that. So the manifestor gets angry, right? So we were very much in a codependent relationship. The dynamics were really off, the power dynamics. So when I then went into I had my awakening in 2020, and I started doing the healing. That's when I started taking full responsibility. And what I learned through all of the theta healing and the documenting beliefs and learning how to really, kind of craft, identify the deepest subconscious limiting beliefs that we have, and also craft the highest and best ones to bring in instead. A lot of it comes down to safety, trust, knowing how to do something, having permission, it being possible. These are just key things that and they all come down to safety, so you can fear something, you can reject it, but as soon as you feel safe, like as soon as you can identify a belief and then release the fact that you're fearing it, you're judging it, you're rejecting it, all of these things, and then you can bring in that you're loved, you're accepted, you're safe, you belong. That inner alchemy, it just changes everything, because you can then start to expand that field of those that you can be yourself around.
Yeah,
And over time, it compounds. I've started my podcast. It's taken me 4 years because I have Chiron in the third house in astrology, which is the house of communication. So I am definitely here to heal those wounds of speaking my truth. So it's taken me a long time to kind of slowly, person by person in my life, talk about things that I'm deeply passionate about. But I think it does start coming back to my first point with one person who's willing to hold that safe space for you, whether that is someone who's a friend or a family member, or maybe you need to reach out to a coach or a mentor, so you can just let it all out. Because when you do that, then you can start taking radical responsibility and start doing the inner work, and hopefully they can help you through that process until you get the groove, and then you can continue yourself. And the work is never done. I'm still identifying beliefs around feeling unsafe, but they're always the first ones I go to is, in any level, it is unsafe to blah, blah, blah. I mistrust, I reject, I judge, I fear. They're always the key kind of ones I go to. And then I bring in, the polar opposite of those, the highest and best versions, so that I'm, on every level, I love, I accept, I belong, all of those other things I was sharing about.
oh my gosh, you even in this piece, this I don't even call it information, this thing that just happened. I just have like, you mentioned something, and I think the people will really appreciate this. I'm telling you, because you highlight something so deep that you mentioned about like when we don't feel safe, it's because we don't trust or things like that. But you mentioned something that you said, and sometimes we said that we don't know how to do something. And when
Mm.
we keep telling ourselves that I don't know how to do it, I don't know how, or we are about to put a program, mastermind, mini mind, or even my masterclass, and we said, I don't know. But it's actually not because we don't know. We have plenty of experience. We have books, whatever. The core belief is that I don't feel safe because
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
right? So, if you can go a little bit deeper here, because I think you're gonna liberate a lot of women that they have amazing, even if they all my clients that are doing amazing things, but there's always like, I don't know how, or I don't know what to do. I don't know, like, but how
You
to
do know.
how to
Yeah.
how to liberate ourselves from that lie, because it feels so true. That lie feels so valid. I think this first step is to validate it, but I would love to hear your feedback around this, because this single, like, I don't know how, or I don't know, in invalidates everything, the systems that we have, the strategy, because even if we have everything in place, when we said I don't know, or it's now we know that it comes from this no sense of safetyness, but how to move from that.
Yeah. So, oh, I don't know how. So, like I said, every block that comes up for me, I'm always identifying what it is. So, like I said, I've got that handful that I always muscle test for, because you can know what your subconscious believes by muscle testing. So, I don't know if you've ever seen where people put their arm out and it stays straight for a yes, and then like your arm collapses down for a no.
I
So,
saw that, but I was not like fully aware
yeah.
of how it works.
Yeah, so you can identify what your subconscious believes through muscle testing, and there's loads of different ways to do it. I do it it's called the finger in the hole method. So I'll just demonstrate if anyone's watching on camera. So if I say yes, 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 so the finger in the hole stays firm, and then I'll say no, 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 and it breaks open. So that basically shows me, so that's me baselining that my muscle testing is working accurately. And then you can basically make a statement, make a subconscious limiting belief statement. So for example, I could say, collectively everyone's like, oh yeah, money's evil. So the statement would be, in any level, money is evil. So first of all, I would check in and say yes, 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 that's fine. No, 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 that's okay. So my muscle testing is working. Then I would say, in any level, money is evil. So I've cleared that belief. So therefore it's a no. But if it was to hold firm, then I would know that my subconscious believes that statement to be true. So
Mm.
that's how you can identify your limiting beliefs. And also it means when you bring in the 5D highest and best ones, you can also muscle test. You say the statement slightly different, but you can muscle test to make sure it's gone in once you've done it. So that's kind of how you can know. So when I look at the kind of the handful of kind of whenever I identify something, I'm always like looking for, am I rejecting, fearing, blah, blah, blah. I always test for, in any level, I misunderstand how.
Mm. Mm.
Because
Yes.
consciously, you might know, consciously, you probably don't know. But either way, whether you consciously know it or you don't know it, if your subconscious doesn't know it, which is 95% of what creates our reality, you're never going to go anywhere. So, we've had so much programming, like I was saying, through past lives, through stuff passed down through ancestors, through collectively held beliefs that we don't know. So I then basically make the statement, in any level, I misunderstand how, blah, 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 blah. And then if it's a yes, then I'm like, right, okay. So then I clear that. So through my process, so I use a blend of theta healing and guided visualization to clear that. And then I bring in the 5D download of, on any level, I know how to do blah, 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 blah. So that is how the subconscious reprogramming, it's so important, because I was noticing that you can clear all the stuff. You can, clear that you don't fear it anymore, and you're not rejecting it, and you've got permission, and you know it's possible and you're able to. But if you don't know how on a subconscious level, you're going to keep blocking yourself. And that ego is going to keep saying, yeah, but you don't know how. yeah, but you don't know how. And often we don't know how. Manifestation, the first thing they say is,
You know,
don't think about the how. But,
yeah.
our ego loves to use that as an opportunity to keep us stuck. So making sure that your subconscious understands that it does know how to do something, even if consciously it hasn't dropped in yet. The subconscious is the container for the consciousness of how to drop in afterwards, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I think it's very interesting to see the behind the scenes and the importance of this work, because sometimes we think like it's just about to doing affirmations or whatever. It's like, no, this is the deep work that when we get to do this work, when we work with you, Lisa, is actually when we go and see that actually the things that for the longest, and like you mentioned as well, are not only stopping us for the things that we want to do, but also when we heal those, we actually liberate all the people like me or kids if we have kids or future generations. It's not like this is huge.
This is massive. Yeah, we're not just doing this for ourselves. I am here for people who want to create their dream life, their soul's desires, and do it on their own terms. But I'm also here for people that want to do that as part of raising collective consciousness and coming together to birth this new world, this new 5D world. Because I believe if we all create our own individual soul aligned world, the point is that we're bringing them together. Like ideally, we have 8 billion soul aligned worlds that everyone has created, which aligns with who they are. And together that fits together to create this, one big 5D world. That's what we're here to do. And like you said, it has a knock on effect. You heal yourself and you're the generational breaker of all of this 3D BS that means you don't pass it down to your kids, but also time doesn't exist. So you're also healing your ancestors and future generations that haven't been birthed yet in this physical reality. When you heal yourself, you're just liberating all that is, you're part of this like huge, let's just break free. My dominant planet is Uranus, and I think that really comes through. It's the planet of disruption and pattern breaking and humanitarianism and freedom and change. And yeah, it very much runs through my veins. So yeah, I'm not just doing this for myself, I'm doing this for all of us, all beings everywhere.
And thank you for the reminder here. You mentioned something really amazing that I want to bring here, is that time doesn't exist really. Like, I mean, the present, the past, or how the things that we call past or the future are all here. And when we heal ourselves, we heal the past, quote unquote, and the future. So that is mind blowing. I was just like, this is mind blowing. So we know the information, but when someone highlights, when we have someone like you, it's like, wow, it's just we see with clarity, right?
Thank you for that, Mira. That makes me, yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes I just talk and I have no impact. I have no idea the impact that my words are having. So thank you for that, Mira. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and I do believe that the listeners are gonna just not gonna just listen this one time. You gave us a lot of like nuggets right here, golden nuggets that are not just like another piece of information, actually have depth. One of the things that I think I was mentioned to you, like sometimes some manifestors, we have this big energy, we go deep, we are intense, but I bet that after this conversation, people that get to listen to this conversation, will have an impact in one way or another. We always leave an impact.
We do. And I would, I trust that whatever impact that my words and my energy and my voice is having right now is exactly what it needs to be. So it's all good.
Yeah. All right, Lisa. I will, before we wrap up our podcast episode, I would love for you, if you can share where we can find you. What are the ways that actually, if someone is listening to this podcast and is like, well, I would love to know more about that 5D. That sounds so great. Uh, and but I don't know where to start. So what it will be for her, or even if someone is advanced, she already know about the 4D, 5D, but she wants to go in that because she now recognize that, well, maybe those 25, and you mentioned 25, methods that you use when it comes to beliefs, maybe that is my next step. So What it will be for her first step in entering into your role?
Amazing. Thank you for inviting me to share. So, yeah, my website is the place to come to. So that is House of Gilt. So that's GILT because it means gold.
Okay.
.co. So when you come to the website, you will find healing activations there. So like I said, I have about 25 coming out, but I would always advise someone to start with the foundational one, which is called Activate Your Divine Energy. And that is two parts. So part one is about reconnecting you fully back up to divine source and creator of all that is. So it's really basically bringing you back into your divine power and activating your unique divine energy. And then part two is like, right now, how can you manage your energy, flow with it, command your energy and protect your energy? So I would always advise to start there. And then from then on, you can choose where to jump. You know, if you want to work on boundaries or you want to work on, all the other themes that I have come out with. So I'm in the process of rolling them out. So I'm not sure when this episode is going to go live. So which ones will be out there, but you
Yeah.
can then choose your topic from there. So I've designed it purposely so that they are instant access. As a manifester being non-sacral, I've made the conscious decision not to do one-to-one work. And because my work is very much about collective work, individually, but collectively, people are coming into this, and even people who are pretty advanced on their healing journey and who have done subconscious, they do daily hypnosis, all of this stuff. They are having massive shifts just from this foundational healing activation. It's honestly blowing my own mind, the shifts that they're having. And they've been working on, doing hypnosis and subconscious work for years, and they couldn't shift this disconnection to divine source. And through this healing activation, which is 90 minutes, part one is 90 minutes, part two is 90 minutes, they've shifted it, and they're already seeing their external world changing. So it is suitable whether you're right at the beginning or whether you're advanced, because they're saying to me, it's like, oh my God, you've shown me limiting beliefs that there is no way that I would have been able to identify in doing sessions with other people, because I know I've done sessions and you just go down one layer at a time, like one, and it's normally based around what's currently happening in your life. You talk about it, you identify it, you shift it. Because I did that for 4 years, whereas I'm taking you all the way down to the very depths that will take you years to get to, and we just shift it, within that healing activation. So that is what I would invite people to come in, do the base one, and then from there, choose what direction you want to go into. So that's the work that I do. And then I have a podcast, which is called Activate Your Divine Power. And my Instagram is houseofgilt.co. So again, GILT.co. And you can come and see me in all the black and gold, all the jazzy, I've been told it's Queen vibes, and I'm very much here for Queen sovereign being vibes. We're all here to be in our sovereign divine power, and that's what I stand for.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. And I love the fact, and as a manifestors, because let me tell you, we have listeners. Most of my clients are manifestors, so they will love to hear this and take about. Well, I do one-on-ones, but you're like, hey, I'm not doing one-on-ones, but I decide to put my business in this way. So even they can take this from you, like another like
Yeah.
way of
Permission.
information of like you don't have to do one-on-ones. You can do, like you said, having pre-recorded things or things that doesn't require to be 24/7. And that is a big thing as well for manifestors. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've taken that conscious decision because I need the space to myself to be able to, birth the next creative urge. And, it's an unpredictable life being a manifestor when it comes to energy and being, when you're going to be on and when you're going to need to be in rest mode. So yeah, so permission slip for any manifestors listening.
I love it. And the last question here, and well, you already know what I'm going to ask you. What is your superpower, Lisa?
I kind of feel like everything I've been talking about. I think
Well, you can choose
I'm
one.
definitely I'm going to say reading, being able to read and intuit the 3D subconscious limiting beliefs, programs, and misunderstandings that create this 3D reality of fear, lack, and limitation, and then being able to offer a solution that helps you heal and activate your divine power, being able to bring in those 3D highest and best
Mm.
perspectives and subconsciousness shifts into your body. So shifting the energy and the subconscious mindset into 5D, I'd say is my superpower. And I think that's supported by my in human design, my dominant, so my sun, conscious sun, is gate 47, and that's triple activated. So that is the gift is transmutation. So
Um,
just me being and then add on top of that I'm a manifestor and I'm speaking, and then add on top of that my dominant planet is Uranus, which is about breaking free. All of that is about transmutation, and then add on top of that I've got 8 planets in Scorpio and the 8th house. I am here to transmute the shit out of things. So if you're vibing with my energy, let's do it, baby. I'm here for it. So I'd say transmutation and also imagination. I know we talked about that briefly earlier, but I've got that channel 6447. So I'm definitely here to, that's why I love writing the guided visualizations, because I feel like it really takes the theta healing aspect of rewiring the beliefs to the next level. It really shows, your subconscious mind speaks in imagery. So the guided visualization, it's literally what we were talking about with the how, because when I was doing one-to-one sessions, I'd have clients say to me, yeah, but how? So, and I'm like, well, let's show your subconscious how with the imagery. So I love using my imagination to be able to write those guided visualizations that support the shift from 3D to 5D. So I would say transmutation, probably bottom line, I'm here to activate and transmute the shit out of things. So that's my superpower. And I don't know if you've seen my branding, but basically everything is a lightning bolt. So I'm here for it.
yeah, yes. It's so aligned. Even though and we mentioned this earlier, even with the colors that you use, that those have there are with intention, are not just mere colors that you put because look cute. So
Yeah.
I,
Yeah. No,
you
I
know,
think that's the thing though. It's like everything is intention. And I love to go deep on things. So everything I do is intentional. And I think that's when you really are in your divine power, when you're commanding intentionally what it is that you desire. So obviously you've got to do the subconscious work to make sure it supports that. But yeah, like speaking into existence as a manifester, I do that every day. I inform the universe of what it is that I desire every day, and off we go.
the last thing here, Lisa, and I would love for you if you can just channel what is present for the collective and what are the things that we must listen today. What is the thing that is coming to you right now?
Okay.
Including myself, please.
I'm a bit nervous on the spot. I normally do this behind the scenes.
Okay.
But I think I'm going to go with safety, because
Okay.
we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'm
true.
going to say that this is the divine time, that we've been training for this for lifetimes. We know what we're doing. We've got this. We know how. We are able. We are safe. We have permission. We know it's possible, and we can trust ourselves to do this in this lifetime. We're not doing it alone. We're doing it together, and together we heal and rise.
That's so deep, and I think those were actually some of the words that I will not use the word needed, but I did require to listen. It was just like you're speaking direct to my soul, and I think we all, it doesn't matter where we are in our journey, we do require to listen to not only to that reaffirmation or someone validating something, but just to remind someone reminding us what is true, what is real, what is
Yeah.
here.
And
So,
I think for me, as a manifester being behind my closed aura, uh, or my dense aura, let's call it, I felt alone a lot. Growing up, I always struggled with friends. And, when I met my partner and he just completely loved and accepted me the way I was, that was the beginning of everything shifting. And I think it's so easy to feel like we're in this alone, especially behind a screen. You know, we haven't really fully recovered from the C word and from connecting properly in person, but it doesn't matter because we're doing this together and we're here on the energetic plane. You know, we're connecting. I talk to my soul tribe all the time on the energetic plane, and I'm informing them all the time. So, you know, we're not alone, and we've also got our own spirit teams around us. So you're not doing this alone. Like if you're listening to this and you're like, my God, my mission is so massive, and I feel like everyone thinks I'm bonkers with what I'm talking about. You're not alone because I'm bonkers with you. So, you know, we'll be bonkers together and we'll birth a new world because I believe it's possible in this lifetime and that we've been training for lifetimes for it.
Oh, Lisa. Oh my gosh. I just love it. Just you're on point, and the way that you put it on is just so deep. Like we've been training this. We're not new in the game. We can just trust or even ask. Sometimes and thank you for reminding. We can ask. We have guidance. We're not even alone right here, right? So
Yeah.
that is huge.
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me. I know I've just jumped in there. You were about to say thank you, but I've just jumped in. Thank you.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure to have you. And I mean, two manifestors in the house. Like, what else?
Yeah.
Right? Amazing conversation. All right.
House of Legends, here for it.
Legendary woman right here. Right. But all the people that get to listen to this podcast, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna put your information as well, either above or below this video, and also on all the platforms, and in that way they can get. And I'm not gonna say check, just follow your life work and decide from there what is the next step forward in their journey.
Amazing. Yeah, and they can always reach out and ask me as well. You know, I'm always available in the DMs, so they can reach out and ask me what's best. So it's all good.
Yeah, I love that. Well, with that being said, have an all beautiful day, and we'll see you in the next. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is greatly appreciated, and it truly means a lot to me. If you could support us by leaving a 5-star review, it will help us to connect with more extraordinary and influential women like you. With that being said, thanks once again, and let's look forward to an amazing and legendary week ahead.